This episode of the Fiction Writers Podcast is brought to you by How to Write a Novel That Sells. Do you dream of writing a best-selling fiction novel? With the right tools, you could get there sooner than you think. Visit www.howtowriteanovelthatsells.com and unlock the secrets to writing compelling fiction taught by international best-selling author Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where you will discover tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Here you'll find new energy, new perspectives, new resources, and new ideas that will spark your creativity into a blaze of brilliance. It's easier than you think. Be sure you visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get out your notebook, tune in, and let's get started.
How do your characters get into those scrapes they get themselves into? And why? My name is Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast. Tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. I've been binge watching Bosch, the TV show about the detective, the police detective. He's gruff and scruffy and he never obeys the rules and doesn't listen and all that. It's been quite interesting. I think I'm on season 3 at this point. But it brought to me an idea about characterization, which, I talk about a lot because it's so important. In the TV show Bosch, the main character gets himself into scrapes. And sometimes the things he gets into are of his own making. He bumbles into stuff. If he was more thoughtful, if he was more thinking ahead rather than just what I want now, he would avoid some of the issues that he has, even in his personal relationships. He just sort of shoots from the hip, regardless of where he is or what the situation is. And so that leads to then conflict and tension and all the great things that happen in a story to keep us reading. So think about your character. What aspects of that person's personality causes them to get in trouble? Do they jump to conclusions? Do they not let other people speak and assume they know what they mean or what they want? What character, quote unquote, flaws or quirks do they have? I don't like the word flaws, that make them jump in to situations or maybe have these misunderstandings with people that causes trouble. You need to really just think about that and write it down in their biography, wherever you have that. And if you don't have a place to keep those little bits of information, go to lanamacara.com and download the novel notebook. It's free, totally free, but it tells you how to corral all these different ideas, which are so important for keeping your novel full-bodied and rounded, and so your characters feel like real people, like they do in Bosch or in a movie. So how do they get into the scrapes that they're in? And then what are the characteristics that will help them get out of it? Now, Bosch, he doesn't relate very well. He doesn't talk very well to people. But once in a while, he'll sit down and actually have a conversation. He can if he really gets there. So that's a redeeming quality, and it helps him get out of scrapes. Now, the same qualification, the same quality that he has for getting into scrapes also help him solve crime, right? Because he puts 2 and 2 together and he chases down clues and he does all this proactive, shoot from the hip stuff. And he gets his man or woman, whoever it is, and solves the crime. But that same characteristic gets him in trouble with his boss, with his ex-wife, with his daughter. And it's interesting that some of those characters reflect the same back to him. He and his daughter clash a lot because she's the same type of personality as he is. And then eventually, when she gets older, like 18 or so, they start joking about it. So these characteristics are super important, and they're engaging. They make the person seem real, and people can relate to this type of situation because we run into it ourselves. I'm very organized, extremely organized, but then I'm also frustrated when I run across somebody who's not organized in, certain ways. I'm not totally organized in my house. You could see it now. Oh my God. But in my business stuff and my writing, I'm very organized. And so someone who I'm trying to work with in those areas, if they're not organized, that frustrates me. So the same is true with your character. Think about the positives that help them get where they are, and then take it to the extreme, flip it, and make it into a character problem, a problem with relationships, a problem with the boss, and so forth. And see how you can use one quality to spread across the story for your main character, sub-characters, side characters, and some of them show that characteristic. Some of them hate that characteristic. Some of them mirror the main character. Some are contrasting to the main character. So just work it, massage it, bring it in from one angle, then bring it in from a different angle with someone else or a situation or whatever. So this is what gives your story that cohesion, where it feels complete, it feels rounded. The reader or the viewer has no idea, but they sense it, and it gives your story depth and reality. I hope that helps you today. My name is Lana McAra. See you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where we share tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Remember to visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Fiction Writers Podcast.